Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find themselves in America or to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And today we're going to talk about the seasons change and why it's significant to pay attention to when we're going into different phases. So today is supposedly the first day of fall, or first day of autumn, but it's not what somebody tells you the first day of fall is. It's what you say the first day of fall is. And this is why it's so important for people to really get connected back to the earth. Who are you? Are you here to walk on concrete all day, or are you here to walk on the earth? You got to ask yourself that question and be serious about it. Because if you're going to walk on concrete and all these other foreign objects that's cutting you off from the earth, it's not going to go too good for you. Depending on where you are in life, the seasons can be a helpful tool into recalibrating yourself back into that natural order. So it's not what somebody tells you fall is, it's what you say. And how do you have a say so? Because you are a part of all this. And what you see and what you feel and what you think matters. So just like the people tell you it's Christmas, it's this, it's that, that's not what you say. That's what they tell you, taking you away from the natural order of things. And when what I mean by natural order of things is moon phases, you know, the animals, the seasons, weather. Those are things that you have to be aware of because I'm sure you've heard of rain dances before. How did that happen? The people were connected with nature, and when they needed it to rain, they just did whatever they did to make it rain. What I mean by, or what's an example of recalibrating yourself back to nature? Okay, so this is why this time period is important because we're going into fall, or I'm sorry, we're already in it. And how do you know we're into fall? How do you know? So instead of listening to someone else says, you have to get out and get, you know, with life itself. How do you know when fall's changing? Do you notice a change in the trees? Do you notice all the leaves are falling from the trees? You yourself has to know that. Getting that information from somebody else will only confuse you. So now we're going into a system where there's ghouls and goblins and pilgrims taking your land, reindeer and shit. It's about to get really convoluted to get you more off your time. Why? Because remember, we're on a corporate time schedule. We're in a corporate matrix, and their matrix goes in just like the seasons. Just like the seasons, they have quarters. just like the season. They have summer, spring, winter, and fall. They break that corporate structure down into that too. But only they put what they want, not what nature gives. And that's one thing that happened with so called Black and African Americans. They got away from that and started doing what corporate tells them to do. So all this turkey dressing up as goblins and blah, 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 and all this crap that's going on in the next 3 months, pay attention to it because it's to get you off. It's to get you out of the rhythm of nature. And for a lot of people, mainly for most people, that's already done. I'm just sharing this information with you guys. You guys listen, and you give me some positive feedback. And then plus, I know you'll share this with the kids. So now you're about to move into a section of time where my manipulation, the manipulation of your mind, is going to start up real soon. There's a time period during this time where they play with the clocks. Move the clocks back, move the clocks forward. For whatever the corporation uses it for, that's not your mission. This is what I'm saying. You are somebody. You're not what other people say you are. You're not Black, you're not African American. What do you say you are? Where did the people that you come here, what did they call themselves? That's why genealogy is very important. So remember what the Matrix has the season set up for. It's for their benefit, not yours. Because remember, the corporation time does not follow the time of nature. This is why the confusion and silly shit is more pronounced during this season. And what I mean by silly shit is this. So, when you're in California during Christmas time, Negroes will put cotton on their roof to pretend that it's snow. Seriously. And I know some of you got people in California. Ask them. They have Negroes putting cotton on their roof to fake like it's snow because it doesn't snow in California. So this is how you're programmed away from nature. This is how you're programmed away from the natural order. And so we know this is the time of year where a whole bunch of that nonsense is going to be going on. The only for this time, the only things that matter to the corporation is the bottom line. And if you listen to some of the truckers, guys who move objects all around to sell in all these stores, if you listen to them speak, they'll tell you that the docks are empty. That could be a sign. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you. They're going to start setting the clocks back. That's going to throw a lot of people off. A lot of people off. Be cognizant of that when that happens, because that's another trick. to get you disconnected from nature. If you're not connected to nature, you can be controlled better and easier. What's another way that they disconnect you from nature? Put the concrete between you and the earth, and to make sure that you have rubber soled shoes on when you're getting around. How are you going to feel the pulse? How is your heartbeat going to connect to the earth? Aren't those two connected? Like the rivers, aren't they the veins in your body? How nutrients get to different parts of your body, just like nutrients get to different parts of the earth. You're just a you're on that, and now you don't even touch it. You don't walk the earth no more. You don't see what's happening to the trees. You're not even on the ground no more. You're in a car, you drive everywhere. You're disconnected. And like to get up and talk like you're connected. You're not. You're confusing everybody when you speak. To disconnect you from life itself, Earth gives us everything: water, food, you name it. We just have to be innovative enough, skillful enough to use what the earth gives for the benefit in those who are around you. The people that are around you, you're supposed to be building something that's going to be sustainable for everybody. Since you have gotten into bed with a whole bunch of people from a whole different places, all it does is confuse you. We like to pretend that that ain't the case. It is. So I would suggest pay attention to the seasons, not just this one coming up, all of them. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention how you're being manipulated. Pay attention to the news stories. Pay attention to what's going on in different parts of the world. Because remember, what goes around comes around. What's an example of what goes around comes around? This is real simple. And many people ignore it or feel guilty because they were into it. But one of the tenets of what goes around comes around, not one of the tenets, how you can see it taking place. You see all these people sitting on the ground outside in all these places, all these bustling cities and metropolises. Many of them are military cats. Many of them are military cats that went to other countries and helped the corporations overthrow these people's governments, killed a lot of these people, murdered their children. What goes around? Now, what's coming around is this. One of the things with these wars is that the people who lose the wars, they are normally paid compensation back from the people who exacted war on them. So let's just take Vietnam, for example. No, let's take something more recent. The wars over there in the Middle East, those people got to get visas, green cards, or whatever you did, whatever they got, to come over here and set up in your community. They remember you being over in their countries because you're normally the first people they sit into because they send into these places because you're expendable. And what you see on the streets now is these people coming back from over there, they're worried. They're strung out on drugs because they get back home and the people that they killed over there, they're living right down the street from their mamas today. Now they're worried because those people remember those faces that helped destroy their family just like you would. They're worried now because those people are back in their countries, in their neighborhoods. What goes around comes around. Now you have a significant amount of people waking up to what's been going on. You have to throw confusion into the equator. Pay attention to this. Copper Color Lifestyle said there's a movement in Canada with some Middle Easterners to spread Islam. They said they don't care about the Canadian culture. Can't be any different here in the USA. I mean, how simple is that? So all this stuff is being spread, and you've seen where it's spread all over the world. What's happened to those cultures? Not just Islam, because that's the same stuff as Christianity. Same thing. It's a people's way of life. People who have a network and who are connected. And that's all African American is about. Connect the indigenous people back to nature. That's where you get your strength from. But when you don't care about it, when you just give it away to everybody because we all the same, when you talk about stuff that's confusing people. So people think, well, you're confusing. No, I'm not confusing. I don't use the big words and a lot of bullshit into what I say. Just give it to you straight, no change. If you don't get it, what? You want me to sit up and lie to you like you lie to others? You're a part of this system that we call life. You're part of it. All of us are. That's why we can reproduce in it. That's why they got to get you not to produce in it. Long as you're not reproducing yourselves, you die out. I know most people don't understand. I can do what I want to do. You don't. Yeah. Do you, boo? But when you stop reproducing yourself, you're gone. And I know in this climate now, you are taught not to reproduce yourself. See, we just look at the abortions, we look at the LG lifestyle. Do you know how many jails are in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina? Just those three states alone. Do you know how many jails there are filled with you? This is what I'm saying, y'all. We can't continue to be stupid. Miss Flame said something, and it's kind of right because you see where it's setting us back. Appreciate your conversation, Carrie. Always focus on current events and the future. Right. I mean, where are we going? Few The history is written by somebody else, and if you can't learn from it, trust and believe you're gonna repeat it, which is why you find the African American black in the same position they are now. What do they get? Give me proof. Produce the you ain't proof. You're living it. Sources. Give me sources. The Bible's a source. The cat in the hat is what are you talking about? Always, always talking about nothing. You got to be able to see where you're going. And if you don't have a full comprehension of the history of this place, by the time you're 15, you probably won't never get it. This is what we see now. Copper color lifestyle again. A lot of people think because we were great in the past, we don't have to do anything now. Thumbs up. That's what I'm saying, man. What you did. What you did then allowed somebody to come take it from. No, they didn't take it. You gave it to them. Is pretty a lame excuse for being. We did this. Now you're that. Now what? So what you do, you have a lot of people speaking because of the greatness that was once in the past. Another thing to not get caught up on is this we stuff. We was this. I don't know. Were you one of the people who were in the army? Were you one of the people in the Buffalo Soldiers? Because every time I ask a Negro, well, if slavery was going on and the Buffalo Soldiers were happening at the same time, how come Buffalo Soldiers didn't go around freeing slaves? When you ask that question to the average Negro, who? Remember, it's to confuse you. You're to be confused every blink of your life. You are trained not to understand nothing. You are trained not to comprehend nothing. You're trained that the first school you go to, Sunday school, if you don't get that by the time you're at least 8, you probably never get it. All you got to do is read the damn thing. How do we circumvent that? Don't teach them to read. That's why there's so much confusion going on now. People can't even read and arrogant about it. So, uh, an example is I'll give you an example. So, one of the things I like to do is get information from uh, people younger than me because they move a lot different. Things have changed from the time when I was in my 30s. So, boom, I can go and get information from them. So, I was doing a piece on, do women speak in the Bible? No, they don't. They just do what they're told as usual. And so I called this young lady who was supposed to be all hip and smart and stuff. And I'm like, hey, could you send me a passage in the Bible where a woman is speaking? So she just gonna send me a link to AI. So this is where we're going now. You're going to a machine to tell you what's real. You gonna have a whole bunch of problems. And I had to show her that on the machine on the AI, it says it didn't say for entertainment purposes, but it was basically that's what it was. This is we don't know if this is real or not. And but people think, like the same people that went to get the jab, that what's being pushed on you is real. You better stop playing around. So remember, we're in a different season now. Don't get caught up in all these things that are going to be coming at you. Pay attention to nature, the moon cycles, the trees, what happens when the leaves start to fall off. Pay attention to that stuff. It'll teach you something heading into next season. Always think forward what the next move is going to be. Boom. Because you all already have the history. You already carrying that with you because you are it. You guys have a good day. We'll see you next time. Peace.